Howdy ho. Howdy ho. It's 11:55. 11:55. And there go that howdy ho again. That gematria tripped me out that day. Let me see if I get another one right now. I'm hearing, oh, the miraculous maze of mankind. Oh, I'm writing it down. Miraculous maze of mankind. So when I'm done, I'm gonna go check that out and look it up. It's 11:56 right now, which is 11:11. And it is September 20th, 2024. And I'm gonna come on and just do a little, I'm gonna keep this short. Cause this is a really good time to feel into this IZAR energy. It's almost like you're never ever and never before and never again. Not even next year. Will you as an energy being be able to see through and feel and sense and see the subtleties of this alpha draconic completed DNA line that has now been remerged together with everything that the Alpha Draconic energy was ever built, used to manifest. Alpha Draconic energies manifested, whether they implanted it in us, whatever dimensional story you want to come up with. Because let me tell you, there's a matching story to each one of the story and perceptions that you know is true. But you just keep going higher and you keep going lower with that same sequence, and everybody else is right too. We're talking about kind of like a haze. It would well, first of all, this entire Libra sequence was cut off from our realm in Antarctica. There's a circle. I've showed it many times on here on Google Earth, so I'm not going to go do it again. But if y'all want me to pull up and do a short video and show it, because see, it's completed now. If you go look right now on Google Earth, you're gonna find a circle up on Antarctica, and it looks like a disc. And I've even found the disc underneath the ice. I've got a picture. They found the ship. We sent the disc. We sent the disc in that metal concoction that you'd call metal down here, but it's not really. That disc was flown into Antarctica and broke the ice and landed right there to get this energy back down here into the human realm in order to get our orb to start going all the way around the wheel. Because before 2019, it wasn't. We weren't moving. The entire human race down here and the orb that we were in, which was a simulation at that point, we weren't moving. There wasn't a flow. There wasn't planets flowing. There wasn't any of that. According to my journey, which is highly connected into my personal journey, and all the ones and even y'all that are connected here, is all the in-betweens and the hybridization that happened from what you would consider the origination of that energy to, in the end of days, 1,000,000 years later, how is that natural, organic power source being utilized and put back on the collective? Because if the whole realm is gridded down to not allow Libra energy, realize that that's connection into your body. That's a connection into your ancestors. That's a connection into your intuition. That's a connection into what we'd call the dark sides and the M sun settings, which, by the way, is what a precession of equinoxes and what an ascension of the human race per universal law is allowed to happen every million years for a massive complete reset, not a wobble. Wobble is going to happen, and just a planetary alignment's going to happen if we didn't break the alpha draconic seal on this mofo. Cause realize when you're talking about and looking into, and if you gravitate more to the alien different races is what per human, that's what you call them, but realize that's just the human race being projected into that dimension and then showing up for you to see. That's what it is everybody down here in a human form attached into etheric bubbles that were over them, that they weren't getting a full connection back up into Libra in order to turn it on. This is why IZAR was Alpha Draconic Arcturians. This is if you have any energy from 25 to 29 degrees of Libra. And this is pink and green. This is your pink and green. That is IZAR. That's the entire Alpha Draconic collectives. Now, Alpha Draconic had been around, I mean, because whenever you really understand what Alpha Draconic is as a constellation system that is just freaking massive. And if you now realize, okay, we were in like a matrix, which we could also call a candy land. It was a weird ass energetic game of chutes and ladders down here in a simulation because nothing was moving. Everything became stagnant in a grid. Okay. Well, that whole Candyland is inside Alpha Draconic constellation. There's 5 loops in the snake. This was the entire wheel and the Lumerian, because I mean, astrology was even astrology, not astronomy. Astrology was all of us in those Lemurian energies jumping back into the wheel. That's how astrology even got here. We had jumped back into a time portal. How the hell are we going to pull ourselves out? Well, we got to start charting it and taking some notes, don't we? Well, that's why astrology at the end of days, everybody was only using it to predict what's going to happen next, because they're correct. It always used to. It always used to do. But because we activated the cosmos, because we put the star energy together as a collective, and all the healings that we did and all the charts that everybody was doing and blah, 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 blah. What everybody didn't realize in the whole collective is that all of that was being done over here with stars. And it took 3 or 4 years for what we did in 2018, all of us consciously getting charts over here. And what I was doing whenever you did is we were calling off all the curses and the rebirth of that line. And we did. So basically, the Alpha Draconic chutes and ladders system, that every single dimension of consciousness was inside that snake. Okay, this time the snake didn't need its tail. It ain't gonna go in a circle. In fact, you got to lift your head up. You got, because there ain't, so you can get to that space where something else is. You can't just look straight forward. You're gonna go back into the tail. And that tail and the Alpha Draconic walls and the Alpha Draconic grids and the Alpha Draconic streets and the Babylonian techno crazy ass shit that they did, even with then China and Japan, would then lead into the Zeta Reticuli, and the Alpha Draconic and Zeta Reticuli had made a deal. Well, in your body, that's your bones. Alpha Draconic would be like your bones and the marrow and the frequency of the marrow. And Zeta Reticuli would be plugging it up into the light socket, turning it on, seeing what frequency you put out. Now just keep them plugged in. All right, we like that. Put it on level 9 and zap the fuck out of them. We need that energy in order to keep this thing stagnant, to keep these grids working. Not anymore. Everybody inside the snake, your walls are going to start changing. The illusions are going to start changing, or you're going to start seeing through the illusions for the first time. Why? Because energetically, the human collective, I mean, every single origin point has been put back together. What was done, what the Alpha Draconics had done for 1,000,000 years down here on Earth, what they had done in what you would call Andromeda now, because they created it, what you would call the Stargates and the da-da-da-da-da, because they had built it, over the past 1,000,000 years for sure, because this is a 1,000,000-year reset. But I mean, it's been going on longer than that. Every single star race of what you would consider the star races, and why we even had all that, was because of what the Alpha Dracs were doing in order to tune the whole thing to a lower frequency and go Liz out on everybody. Well, they even lost control of this at some point, if you haven't noticed. That's why the politics is coming undone and everything else, because they lost control of it. Why? Because we had already unhinged their collective DNA connection to how the Matrix was built. Alpha Draconic they can't run the circus if it's spinning. We know that spinning it is how you create it, and spinning it and being able to energetically hold it to where no one even knows it's spinning. That's how you prove who you are. Well, scoot the fuck over. Y'all spun out, everybody. Whole thing spun out. It hit that lowest degree. At Alpha Drac, the whole wheel, all the records in Scientology, and the way that they were doing the gold records and putting them off into space and distorting the frequencies out in space. Well, how the hell are you, a star person, are you supposed to get back down and connect if they're sending that shit out freaking everywhere? Mass distortion. And over time, the distorted became the reality. The distorted became the facts. But that don't mean that it's real. It don't mean that it's where it came from. See, that's IZAR. Every single toy soldier, every single clone, every single toy soldier, every soldier that was made, because y'all don't realize how that was being replicated with Virginia free. Oh, Lord have mercy. And the burial cycles, oh, shit. And all the intention that goes on burials and military freaking, oh, God. Like, don't even get me started. Hollywood, we hit the grandfather clause. Most of the stuff that all of us were clearing out of this IZAR line was connected into characters that were put into the Matrix over the past 600 years that were built off distortions in order to distort. As a mouthful, and you might need to rewind and hear that again. But meaning most of us adopted children that are like, our family lines are linked into the orphan trains and how those were separated, and now 2 complete lines have come and built, and then there were certain ones of us that kept coming back in. You're adopted because you shouldn't even be here per their record. It's kind of like in their real world is like how we just started fucking showing up in the 70s. Yep, and we built astrology, and yep, astrology, that's why six houses are empty. Six houses are empty because then that showed them in the 60s that the indigo children were coming in. Yep, that's what happened. Indigo children started landing here, clearing out space. All the ascended masters reincarnated in 1972. Why? Because it's when we had six planets in Libra, mostly in the higher houses, connected into Notice One, in order to write the DNA counts whenever we came in to do it. That's why us babies showed up in 72. Whether you realize it or not, the whole world got a DNA upgrade in 1972. What started happening right thereafter? Give us 10 years, technology. Give us 20 years. Oh, crap. Give us 30 years. Give us 40 years. And here's the ding, 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 ding. We all just completed a 50-year cycle. Give us 50 years. Go back and look at the technology and the human DNA and the human collective in 1972, and then look at it now. Tell me that shit didn't change. What's happening right now is that we're doing 50 years in 5. We're doing another 50-year upgrade, because shit, that 72 ain't gonna hold. I mean, that's before Fortran. I can't plug in Fortran into a satellite system and have it talk to each other. The upgrades that all of us had to connect and as a collective put back together all these origins. Now this is also, when you're if you have been consciously doing this with the collective and the lines that you cleared, and you've been dealing with witches and warlocks, and you've been dealing with cults, and you've been dealing with sex, and you were one that got taken out when they came for all of us for helping the collective throughout this, because it all had to replay again, then I want y'all to understand that we proved Triple Crown family. We proved that we're the Triple Crown family. Well, if you go Google that, the Triple Crown family, it was the first one that hasn't been back down here per history since the original Pope and the Popistry. This is the connections into all the Medicis and all the Tudors and all the da-na-na and I mean you merge them up in a blender, we're their baby, and connected into everybody who got down here and came through some Stargate or glitched out or went tech and all the connections on the in between. When we get done with our crest, it'll have 3 crowns. Everybody that's been involved in it, you can put 3 crowns on. Now, this also leads back into the India teachings and the triple-headed god and the triple-headed dragon. Exactly. In your etheric body, it's what you are. But let me tell you, merging those 3 is a motherfucker. This is also Medusa. Now, whenever you stop that Arcturus energy from coming in to an Arcturian upgraded body, then what you're doing is harnessing cosmic power. That's actually intended for every single being to hold their own individual bubble collectively, organically, the way it's connected in the DNA lines. Your ancient lines are going to have that, but the way that it got all hybridized and done, you had all the body connections. You's connected and you's wielding star systems down here the whole time. Did you know that? No. Did you know that you were working in a collective to do it, and they were handling every single one of us to move it around to do it, to make sure that you didn't know that's what we were doing? No, you didn't know. No human body down here had a cosmic connection. That's what the hell we just had to walk through, this hybridization and this cloning and this fucking dissecting and this and this and this and this, putting DNA in a computer. 23andMe, I know your damn problem. Why do you think my brand's called 32? Anybody who's got any type of government connections or investigative reporter connections on some of this or know some people, please, Lord, get them in touch with me. I can definitely send them in some directions that nobody's seeing right now. IZAR. See, what's happening now is that the construct, this is why we had to expand. This is why we had to wait another year to even connect. And 2023 was that void, because we had to expand the bubble and expand the cosmos. But whenever you blow Alpha Draconic way the fuck out there, then basically you expand and blow all the bubbles. Well, we did that. Then it created another problem. You got out there and you had nothing to connect to. You were just free freaking floating. Joseph and the Amazing Dreamcoat's coming up right now too. Kardashians, great example. They had dreamcoats. Mary Magdalene's the brain. Well, we put the brain back together. I even claimed Mary Magdalene's house in Louisiana, which freaking sent me into a fucking crypt that I had to break out of with some damn vampires and shit. Literally. In the etherics and the physical, if you look at it all together. But I never met Joseph. In my weird ass technical digital freaking world, Joseph was my handler. Joseph and that whole from at the end of days, how it all became, we had our Josephs, which then became Jasons, but only Jason because it's JSON, JSON, which is a Microsoft Internet library for code. It's what MJ12 is. IZAR. Dealing with mass populations and country energetics that were energetically being done in a dome to affect a group, not from the inside out. And everybody down here is getting this connection. That's why you can't continue to do it the old way. It's going to start backfiring more and more and more and more, because I don't care what bodysuit they're in. I don't care what skin color they are. From the marrow perspective, they're getting an upgrade. How much of it are they going to embody? I don't know. How much of them are going to die from some sickness? Well, that's because they're not embodying it. They're not opening it up. Their etheric bodies carving up and getting looped up in space by both parties, us and them. If the people don't know, they're going to get cancer. They're going to get pox. They're going to get, I don't know, what energies formed around them in that disease field, because that's what it is. If you're not opening it up and clearing it and connected into the body of the collective and the cosmos and flushing it through and getting it out of you, then it's gonna back up, and it's gonna create some type of cyst. It's gonna create, usually. This is the part that everyone else missed, unless you happen to be the one that has all of these keys. And if you happen to be the one who's got all these keys, then you you walked it. This is why the factions are pissed off right now. Sorry about your luck. We told you. We told you. The whole time you was putting us down. Here on this video, what one of my things was, all right, I guess we're gonna see what happens when you take a cosmic princess that's connected into every DNA across the universe in everything of life that's been blended back together in a techno-Babylonian to freaking recreate it. Let's see what happens when we try to cook her with the entire collective and take her unconscious and blast her through CERN. Well, that's what happened. They put all of us in the soup. Okay, well, we changed the soup. All right. Well, that's what's being projected. We don't ever want to do it again. But it's why we let you do it. In fact, we jumped back in and fucking said, "It was me. Capture me. Take me into the soup. It was me." That's your ascended masters. That's what we did. That's what the plan was the whole time. Even as we were kicking and screaming, we're the best damn actors you have ever seen in your world. You know why? Because we don't even know. In fact, your energy is now going to change when you get around certain characters. So notice, and friends, when especially all you friends, because it's real hard to notice within yourself, but your friends will notice it. Your friends will notice it. Let me give you an example. Those Illuminati characters that I was dealing with the green screen shit attached into Usher in the music industry over in 2021 in California. Those Illuminati type characters, I'll just call them industry handlers. The industry handlers, you know, I have many different energies that I embody. Like, you're not listening to the real me right this second when I'm on here telling you all this stuff. I'm a channel for it, and I understand it, and I can connect it into the earth, into your experiences, and help you make sense of it. But my true nature is not anything like what you hear right now. So most of the time it takes a while with people for me to get into my true who I really am, because there's so much that both of us are balancing out in our energies and teaching each other real quick to get that balanced out so that we can meet who we are. Right? Because all the others is our layers. It's our layers commingling. Well, it was a girl that was with me, and once we popped one piece of this and we got out to 29 Palms to the Mirage, that's when I really noticed this change, and this is what y'all are gonna start seeing. When that guy came around, I became so docile. Like girly docile. Oh, my energy just changed. Now, see, now that happens, I realize that that's what happened. And I become that way because my energy will shift in order to match theirs. Because theirs is so narcissistic. Theirs is so fucking pushy. Theirs is so right that my energy completely flips and becomes like type of girls that they're used to dealing with. But see, I just do it naturally, but I don't even realize I'm doing it. My whole energy will flip. Well, when my energy flips like that, my mind doesn't think the way that it normally does. I really am in that docile character. I really do turn into that energy to where I can't even see it sometimes. My point is, you won't know what I'm thinking. You won't know. They won't for the first time. They're used to being able to walk around you and read the shit out of your mind. When they can't read, then they make the failed mistake of thinking that we really don't have a plan, and then they just keep attacking. The more that they're coming at you to attack you, the more they'll get blocked off from seeing any future. So then they think that you are nothing and you could just be sacrificed until the whole freaking thing blows up in their face. Well, that's perfect timing for us. Please don't let them know any sooner. That's a great example of this Azarian energy. Any militant type energetic people that are around you that follow the rules. They follow the rules. That's like even that freaking serial killer energy, like Dexter type energy, you know. Why it's starting to change a little bit now, but I haven't met a whole bunch of high vibe men yet in the physical. But in the old energy, if I walked into somebody's house and your shit was way too clean, like way too clean, you men that are like freaking insane. All your hangers are 2 finger widths apart. All your freaking suits match and shit like that. Oh man, I don't care how hot you are. I don't care how rich you are. I'm running. I'm running. Running. Then you're going to see me out on the date with a biker looking dude. I'm going to feel way more comfortable. That is our energy. Thoroughbred, the industry, all the DNA lines at the industry, they're changing from the inside out. It's separating, whether or not they want it to or not. As it separates, those currents are going to take them back down in order to have to separate it, pull it apart, make amends, change, whatever the heck. But right now, what we're noticing these next 4 days, and I don't know about y'all, but yesterday was a really good. How was your day yesterday? How was your day yesterday? Did you have any? Are you running a business? Did you have a bunch of orders come in? Did you have any new connections come in? Did something shift yesterday? Like, how was your day yesterday? It's going to give you, because whatever your energy was and whatever was going on yesterday, it's until the next 4 days, we're going to be grounding this. Because what's happening is we've already mastered Scorpio. See, in order to master this, our Triple Crown Collective mastered the energetics of mass alchemy on the whole damn wheel. Ding, 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 ding. That part. We had to take control of the energetics of the harvest. We're giving it back to everybody. No matter, it still has to start getting built now because we're 3 years behind in one time count. Which is why we had to change 4 years in the timeline. These next 4 years are collectively changed years. No matter how bad it gets, trust us, it would have been a lot worse. And notice who it's happening to, because it ain't going to be happening to you. We mastered, you got to master Scorpio to even push that energy all the way through to connect into the elementals of Sagittarius in order to project it down to Gemini. And these are the ones that were basically in the hole. Your entire O blood race was run from Gemini. No, it wasn't. It's run from Sagittarius. I'm sorry. It's getting run from Scorpio, from the magic. Why? Because it was how they were changing the circus tents with the timelines in Taurus during time travel. Everything was being run from Scorpio magic. So depending on where you stick on this IZAR line, with what you've already cleaned with the collective and a DNA, once Venus leaves here, okay, because we're dead on it right now. It's literally changing Andromeda galaxy in space right now as we're talking about it. That Libra and Aries is all lined up. Libra and Aries basically leave the wheel because this wheel's been broken. There's a bunch of houses that we don't need anymore. They blend together. The whole thing's going to evaporate because you're putting no more slices in the cheesecake. As Venus comes in, you can think of it like an energetic rake. So now it's like IZAR is going to go all the way out here, and it's connecting with Spica, which is way out here. It's connecting with that energetic. Well, it's going to clear just like you've got a drudger, like a net, like a net in the water. And it's gonna start drudging, and it's gonna pull it like this from the collective energy. Well, anybody that was in this, and this is your family line. See, this is whenever you start realizing, oh crap, if this is happening to me, then somehow or another my family was involved, whether we were trapped in it or we were the ones that created it. But by the way, if you're trapped in it, then you probably did create it in another timeline, which is how you got trapped in it, because you became unconscious that you had created it. Oh, well, I take that down. I command all magic that's ever been done at a lower current in order to wield the collective zodiac wheel to make it go the opposite direction to delete. Okay? As an example. Well, when you say that, because we just said it. Then it's going to cut and it's going to dredge through. When you start seeing most of the magic that has every single piece of magic that has ever been done down here, and I'm talking about even your journals, when you got out your journals and wrote your manifestations down, or you called in for protection, or you put yourself in a crystal, or whatever you did, if you haven't corrected it, it's still there. You might only need to say stuff out loud. You might only need to tell the universe that you're fucking aware. Like, you might just need to order it all undone and ask to be shown what needs to be done transmutation wise or alchemically in order to connect it on land. But the point is, to Master Scorpio, you have to realize and see how powerful everything really was coming at you, and more so what you created, because you can control it. That's the point. That's why you have Scorpio. It's like you if you have energy in Scorpio, you can control that net of the oceans in the collective. But for all of us that have already mastered this, because we're wielding it from here, then for the first time, it's like that connection way up here, it's flying over. The last moon cycle, I said, it's like we have 2 Sagittarius moons. What's coming up in the collective right now? At the end of September, for at least a month, we're going to have 2 moons. I told you. We're changing M suns. We're quantum jumping the whole realm. The Earth was not in the cosmos where it was supposed to be. That was our parallel reality. We've already merged them and stepped in and sewn it up. We're embodying it right now. We're going to be dredging it through Scorpio. So there's going to be, it's either you're wielding it or you're having to untie or you're getting pulled. And then that's going to connect in Sagittarius. Then that's going to connect and pull in all this Ophiuchus energy, which is going to change these Gemini settings and even change the old twin counts, going to change all that. And then when it gets into Capricorn, then it's going to start lining up in the root races and start building infrastructures. Right now, today, and through this Scorpio cycle, because remember, Venus is coming in first. What's right behind the sun? Sun's about to be in Notice 1. That's body codes. Sun's going to be in the Notice 1 body codes when Venus is going through Scorpio. Why? Well, that's what we used all our magic for. We didn't come here to get rich. We came here to heal the shit out of our families and our bodies and turn them on and connect them into the matrix. Now we'll go worry about our bag. And by the way, all the bags that you stole before and all the money that you think that you got away with, no, you didn't. You stole it from yourself in order to finish your body, because stopping us then was stopping the human race from ascending out of a dead DNA disorder, basically. So I don't know why y'all did it, but now we need your blood back. You stole our money. That's your blood. It's coming out of you, not us. In another dimension, if I paid you 10 grand, I gave you 10 pints of blood. All right, well, you didn't show back up to freaking even that out. So I just changed the frequency of that blood. Now you've got to change your body to harness my blood. And in order to do that, you got to pay me back. Because otherwise, you ain't getting shit. You ain't getting no new blood. You ain't getting no new frequency charge. You're going to keep falling into the infrastructure that you set up for the collective, because you will need to be shown that, because that's how powerful your moves were. It's the only way, that you can sit right here in Capricorn. We'll see where those root races reset when Capricorn rolls around in December. That's the beauty of organic and cosmic and creation and universal law. Then we'll see what happens with Aquarius. But we definitely won't get trapped in there. We'll be going through Aquarius to Pisces in order to fully project an complete new DNA strand to walk in right here. Because that's what you're dealing with your subconscious, and seeing it in the collectives and the magic and the da 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 da, and this is why they were doing that, and this is what the cloning, this is why Ukraine was involved, and da da da, all these little pieces. So because this right here, Aries to Pisces, is directly opposite Virgo to Libra. All that energy hooking into the body. All the Virgo energy and the connections in the beginning degrees of Libra in order to hold it so that you can light up like a motherfucking galactic butterfly with 9 heads to prove pole position right there. To wield more waves in Scorpio. That's what you're doing. That's what all the Egyptian teachings, that's what Isis teachings, that were all made off Lemurian teachings whenever we knew that we were jumping in a time portal. That's whenever you start realizing how much you affected as a Lemurian mermaid, as a Mayan time jumper. This is whenever you really start connecting that journey that you've been on, because that's really where you've been in this wheel. Just look at that. And a yacht on Venus. And to remind y'all, Venus, wherever Venus is in your chart, it's what reality you've been living in, and when the people are around you, it's the reality that you put off energetically. Sun's at 28. Mercury's about to go underwater. Mercury will be underwater tomorrow. I think that's why I'm holding off on one digi chart. Thank y'all so much for ordering the charts. Oh my gosh, we had a wave. And thank you to the Australian crew. We've got a new Australian connections that have come in on this when we had to cut Australia in July. Just because it had to be reset, and just because Australia was running off the most dense blood magic you've ever damn seen in order to keep the earth. That's what they's all putting their energy in one pot to do. Hold Australia to Austria. And the group, the Telegram group, and Kirsten, thank you, and because these messages are getting out to other groups, guys, and intelligent groups like us that are like, oh my gosh, maybe I think she knows some of this stuff, and we just need them to come in, and they're all getting connected. So everything is happening. Not only that, the parallels and their charts are perfectly lined up like they always are. One of you just ordered a digi coloring book to do your own chart, and their birthday is on October 2nd, which is the annual solar eclipse, which that's another thing that happens once you get connected. Your birthdays will end up being on eclipse days. That's happened 3 times now with my crew. Or a planet's going retrograde on your birthday the next year. Like, once you get aligned, the cosmos is aligning to you. You're giving the planets the information. Planets only show up when the collective loses consciousness. Whole point is to realize that that's what they do. We're already to the point where the human body is holding all the data of the cosmos, integrating it, and then pulsing that out into a projection. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know the website's kind of freaky right now. We think we're getting down to the bottom of it. If any of y'all know how to do quick web stuff, WordPress, please email. You can email me at princesschastia@gmail or connect at Cohu on the website. Email us. Tell us what the problem you're having. There's basically the problem we're having on our website right now is the same thing that I'm describing right here. We're working through those problems, but email us. We can definitely get you a coloring book, get you a DigiChart to lined up by sending a PayPal directly to us and getting the information in an email. The site is working on the products, though. That's the part that when we added, it messed up our Digi stuff with no shipping. So the products and the House of Virgo, if you want to order, if you're waiting to see Libra, we had some charts come in. We need to do a line. I needed to get on here and talk to y'all even before I can do this last chart. Uranus is at 27 degrees, and we've got Venus at 27 degrees, and then we've got 28 with Neptune and 28 with Virgo in the sun. And see how Mercury and the sun are completely opposite. Saturn and Neptune are true node. It's almost like one collective's going to be coming back this way because it's all wrapped up in the subconscious, and in some aspects, whenever they die and they come back, they're going to have Saturn retrograde. I had Saturn retrograde. If you have Saturn retrograde right now, this is where we didn't get on the ship a long time ago. This is the big one. Those of us that are linking into this subtle alpha draconic energy that's from this high Empress royal DNA on earth. Like, who the fuck are you? Are you an incarnate? Yep, I'm an incarnate. It's what the entire Egyptian thing was set up for. The whole entire collective projects into one or two people that can hold it all. The government had me for a long time. You really don't want to know what they were using me for. That connection over here is not one that's going to connect again. Not the way we're doing it. Right now, we're connecting it individually as a collective. From now on, when that energy comes up, it's going to be the ceiling that everyone else is trying to achieve. We're the kingmakers. I told this to so many of these damn characters, these industry characters. Okay, whatever. I know that y'all have never seen people like us before, but we're here. And I'll remind you again, I know what you're doing. And I'm the kingmaker. You can't be a king in this new energy and not have me in your reality. I don't care what contracts, what you have written, what documentation, what you forged, what you tricked us into signing, because you never told us what you were doing. We knew the whole time what you were doing, because it's what happens whenever we come in and clear this energy and connect. We got to deal with the most narcissistic, greedy motherfuckers down here. It's why we are Cleopatra. It's why the hell we have those Akashic libraries. Is also why we let you kick the shit out of me for a little bit, because I had to remember that. Because in the end, Cleo's got 2 lions on a leash, don't she? One on each side. Well, there's both your demons and your Satan. We got them on a leash. All right. That's great. But now those cats on a leash got to figure out how to give us back our energy. We're walking into it right now. It's our energy. We're going to be creating in it. It's attached to us, not you. And there ain't no masonry or pin down here that can freaking hold it on. It's two totally different frequencies, but the collective's tuned to us. And each year for the next 7 years, it's going to get more and more and more and more. All right, it is 12:45, and I needed to come on and do this. I know some of you have gotten coloring books now. That's thank you, thank you. I was kind of just waiting for a few of you to get them, and I will come back on. If I don't do it today, I'll come back on by tomorrow and do a live and show y'all how to get started in the coloring book on writing it, how to put it in the thing. Once you get in the groove, once you see how to do it, you got it. And then how to start coloring your chart. So I'll come on here and do that video, I promise, either later on today or tomorrow. And then I think I'll be able to show my face soon. Right now, with this level of information, it's way easier for you guys to see it this way than to also register that I'm saying it and pay attention to me and all my facial expressions and everything else. You do equal house. You do equal house. Yeah, the rocker. People got seriously cooked, but everybody down here got cooked. Everybody down here. And that's interesting your name is Rocker, because that just came up. See, this is one of these subtleties. None of it's good or bad. But even your handle, the Rocker, well, rock is set up on super soldier DNA lines connected to the ones that escaped in the energy of Alcatraz, connected into all the timelines that the prison system was built on the United States of America, connected in to when they turned on 5G with those lines that were, because all of our lines had been hidden in the prison systems, which then became the sacrificials for the industry. But you're talking about DNA lines that our fathers had been arrested and set up for eons by these Masons and shit for coming and telling the truth, or for being the ones that were always here to get out of it, including collective characters that were made, like Billy the Kid. Those stories ended up manifested in people like, in beings like me, our last 50 years. It was all made off collective energy cooking. Rock is also connected into the industry from fire magic. It's connected into the energy from mountain shit, and even P. Diddy and coring. And so, is like, in a, I could say, and I'm not being mean, but I could say that that's an Akashic library that you haven't firmly learned to utilize yet. But that, because you're calling yourself the Rocker. But that's my point. Everybody had gotten cooked down here. The 95% of the planet was already locked into go a million years in a planetary system in a digital world. China in your social media platform, and if you're being a good little girl on the internet, I mean, what the fuck? Stargate and star ring and living on a star ring, and no thanks. We've already done that. That's Pleiadian shit. Like, no, we're good. We don't need to be on a star ring floating around the earth in some boots anymore. We got it. We got what we needed. Hang the fuck on. Babylonian techno is blowing. Or if you've mastered it, then this is the time to build your empire. because the next 3 years, this energy is going to keep changing. That's fine. But right now, we're talking about subtleties of the reality. We're talking about 2 different overall human programs assigned to the human race, connecting in 2 different densities of space to form what you would call new Earth, new timelines, 44D, and ascension of the human race, because that's what part is going up. Everybody else is going to get shut down a little bit just so they can see what they need to do to get up. And then when those start coming up, and as we start moving, it's going to blow again. It's going to blow open again. And a lot of these alignments and stuff that we're doing right now are going to blow, but you're going to be fully fucking equipped. I hope you got to the end of this video, because this is important. I say this all the time. As Libra, we twisted off the energy out there, but we didn't tie it down. We just twisted it off. Whenever the pressure gets going on the inside, then it's going to untwist. That's also going to happen if they try to pull some mass extinction event. If they try to pull something on right now, then they're just going to make it blow sooner. Well, and it ain't going to be this bad, but I'm going to close with this, just so that you really understand the ancient and the changes that are taking place right now, and where we're at as a collective and coming to save the world, because we did. Thing is, saving the world in every single under procession might end up with 50 of us walking around here on the planet, and that's it. We completed the mission. Human race will survive. There's 50. That number is 50 million right now. Now, that doesn't mean that and I feel like we're coming to a point where it's kind of like that's the adjustment that's about to happen. It's going to be subtle, because all of us that have been building this in the etherics have been doing it for a while. It's more like the reality is going to start lining up to us more, instead of us feeling like we don't belong in the reality. And I know a lot of you that have recently gotten alignments, that's the main thing you're telling me. Oh my gosh, I left my house, and oh my gosh, it wasn't bad at the grocery store, and da 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 da. Right, exactly. You're tuned to it, you're tuned into it to affect it, not getting flung around in it. But that will blow again. This is like this in-between few years. All right, I'm out of here. As part of fortune, CK, I am not all down with that. Oh my gosh, the level of detail. All of it's involved, but all of it's masonry. Even the naming of the asteroids, even it's Babylonian, like it's named that way to produce a certain frequency. The asteroid was made because that frequency was taken from the collective or something in some way. Even. It's like we're gaining that energetic back. MJ12. So they're all important. If you know those asteroids and then you go put those on a star point and you understand the energy of that asteroid, then you've got a whole Akashic piece to this that I don't even have. You can teach it that way. Some people like to look at the asteroids. For me, that's like breaking yourself up into a gazillion more pieces before putting yourself back together. But that doesn't mean the asteroid to the star point doesn't have a whole nother level of fucking information whenever you overlay it onto the planetary information, if that makes any sense. It's going to give you a different time count of it for sure. Closer to our current history timeline. See, this is the in between parts that us ancients didn't have. It's like that's why we were the carpenters. It's why we're the architects. That's why we need this next 3 to 4 years for everybody to freaking build the walls, put the drywall up, freaking now we put the sign out front of the yard. Like, okay, now we can link it back to a name. We know that the whole family line's connected into Tudor. We know it's connected into the King Henry, whatever the F balls that whole freaking I wanted to call miraculous abomination was. But where is it then? What happened underneath that how did we end up with Billy the Kid? How do we end up with Tom Cruise? How, you see what I'm saying? How did Moses end up being Michael Jackson? How did Elon Musk ride in on KY jelly and peanut butter? Babylonian technology, Babylonian phonetics, and some DNA splicery is how we did it. And making 12 children in certain DNA counts in a lab. That's going to create an artificial world, is it not? Now, on his side, on Elon's side, and it's crazy, this is even coming up, on Elon's side, he might have even, and still might even think and truly believe that he had to put all that back together because a natural one didn't exist anymore. He was just re-engineering it to save the world. Okay, no, what you really did was build an artificial one on top of mimicking the incarnate. Well, that's going to create a parallel reality. How many of them did you print, Elon? 12? Oh, shit. Multiverse? There you go. The king carousels are being separated from the emperor. And the empress is the emperor.